This is a review for the Valve Steamdeck. I got the 256 gigabyte version here. I'm going to talk about some of the basics, but I'll start with a bias that I have towards this. I've actually been looking forward to the Steamdeck for quite some time. I was a huge fan of the Steam controller. I actually bought a bunch of them when they discontinued it because it makes keyboard and mouse gaming so much easier for me. I work with a computer, so I don't want to use a computer too much, keyboard too much in my spare time, so the trackpad solution I found to be really excellent, especially for games like Kenshi here, which is one of my favorites, and others like Pillars of Eternity, which are not very friendly with a controller but are a lot easier with sort of mouse and keyboard solutions. So I've been looking forward to the Steamdeck for a long time because of the trackpad functionality, which obviously the Steamdeck also has. It's very nice because you can kind of circle the mouse around like this. So now that I've got Kenshi open here, I can show you how this trackpad solution can be extremely useful for keyboard and mouse based games. Like this is Kenshi, which actually does not have any advertised Steamdeck compatibility, but it seems to work mostly fine, even without that listed compatibility. You can use the trackpad. I don't know if the cursor is extremely visible in this video. Go ahead and move this up, see if this helps. But you can see you move the cursor around here. You can use the trigger buttons to kind of act as a mouse click. So left click, right click. That way you can roughly emulate that. You can also use the face buttons as keyboard shortcuts along with triggers to modify. So you could have, like, this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, then hold down a trigger, 5, 6, 7, 8, another trigger, letters or something. And there's actually quite a lot of buttons. We've got the normal triggers, but also 2 on the back as well. They can all be mapped and customized however you like. So there's a ton of flexibility, which is similar to the Steam controller. All of this stuff was mappable. It only had 2 on the back, so this one has a little bit more. But even for games that aren't compatible, you can still play them pretty effectively. Like Kenshi here, I've played quite a few hours using the Steamdeck, and it's pretty good. So again, I'm pretty biased towards this Steamdeck device. I already liked how it worked basically, but now that they've kind of combined it into a Nintendo Switch type screen with controls jammed into the side of a screen, so you can get an idea here. This is my kids' Nintendo Switch. They love Cat Quest and Animal Crossing, obviously. Those are their favorites. But this, just for size comparison, you can see the screen is a little bit smaller. By comparison, the buttons are a little smaller as well, and so are the joysticks. The Steamdeck is overall quite a bit larger. I'm not a technical expert by any means, but I think the specs are superior on the Steamdeck. I've been able to play quite a few games that I wasn't really expecting to be able to play on this. I don't actually have it installed right now, but Elden Ring ran pretty well on the Steamdeck, which I was a little surprised about, to be honest. there wasn't really any stuttering or any issues. I think it ran it pretty similarly to my PC, my desktop PC, which again I was a little surprised about. I showed Kenshi, which is not designed to run on the Steam Deck. So you can see compatibility, they listed as playable. So it's basically functional. I think this description is pretty accurate. Might require some extra effort, but I want to show a game that is designed for the Steam Deck, or is listed as more functional. So this is a game that I've enjoyed quite a bit lately. This is kind of like Ogre Battle, the old Super Nintendo game, where you have, basically it's a strategy game and you have squads that battle. Let me turn this music down a little bit. The speakers are actually quite nice. That's good time to talk about that. Let me turn this up all the way. They get pretty loud and they're pretty clear. So let's turn that back down. So some games are kind of glitchy on here. I was showing you Kenshi. Bizarrely, I can't enter capital letters using the Steamdeck keyboard. I don't know if that's a glitch or what, but I haven't encountered a ton of big issues. It's really just the small stuff. So like here, this is the text is kind of blurry. You have to actually switch the window, the screen size, and then it clears it up. So I have to do that every time I come into this game, which is kind of strange. Hopefully there's no spoilers here, but so this is a game that is not a mouse and keyboard game. It's designed to just work with the kind of a standard, Xbox controller type with no trackpads. So it works perfectly for that. You can use the joystick or the pad here, the D-pad. But yeah, it works great for either type of game. And I've had a lot of I've played this game also quite extensively on the Steam Deck, and it's been great. It works pretty much just like playing it on my desktop PC. It's just a little bit smaller, obviously, but it's extremely useful being this portable. I can go where my family is and go sit on the couch with them and play a game. I don't have to go off and find a computer to play on. So it's nice from that aspect. It's been incredibly useful. Since we're talking about the screen size a little bit, I had read, so this is the 256 gigabyte version. I had read that so there's a difference in the screens. The top end version has an anti-glare screen coating that it is supposed to be really nice. This one does not have the anti-glare. I don't play outside. I've only played inside and on an airplane, but the screen has been fine. It's very clear. Again, I haven't had any reflective issues inside. And I mentioned on the airplane, this is really nice. It's nice to have gaming at my fingertips. I was a little paranoid about making sure to download. Let me turn that down. Making sure to download everything that I needed before the plane trip, because I wasn't sure which games would require online connectivity. Let me exit this game here. Oh, I guess okay, that's interesting. So you can have two games open at once, which I did not know. Let me exit both of them. So I was concerned about online functionality. Would any games prevent me from playing them on an airplane, wanting to connect to the internet or anything like that? I haven't had any issues with games that I've tried to play. So I'm not saying that there won't be. I'm sure there are many online only games like, I don't know, MMOs or whatever, because you can load and play more than just your Steam library. This is Linux instead of Windows, so there are a lot of additional options out there. I've only tried to play it with my Steam library, but there's more that you can do with it. But anyways, on the airplane I had no issues, so I was able to open games. I made sure they were all up to date before I left, but I was able to open things up and play with them, and it was great. So obviously I'm a big fan of this device. Overall, it's incredible. I think the value is off the charts. This 256 gigabyte version is $529. The 512 gigabyte version is $650. 64 gigabyte is $400. That's an incredible value for as powerful as this machine is. The ability to play modern games on the go is incredible. I think they could have probably priced this up a couple $100 and still been in okay shape, but they didn't. They gave it a great price point. The functionality, I also have to say, is awesome. The functionality is more than I ever hoped for when I fell in love with this device, the Steam controller. It makes a huge leap forward. It's definitely the best portable console I've ever seen. Again, I do love this thing, but there are a couple of negatives. One is the battery life. I have not been a super huge fan of the battery life. It's okay, but it does give me some anxiety. So basically, this is projecting 4 hours and 40 minutes approximately. That's probably an optimistic projection. I find that when I don't have this plugged in, I do get a little charging anxiety, I guess you could say. On the plane, I actually had to leave this plugged in. Actually, so I was able to squeak by on a flight, but I do. That is one thing that I wish that the battery life was better. I kind of have to sit near a charger if I'm going to play it for an extended period of time. Another weird thing that I'm not sure if it's just me. I haven't done a whole lot of research on this, but my Wi-Fi disconnects from this device all the time. I connect it up. If it goes to sleep, or I suspend a session or turn it off, the Wi-Fi disconnects. I'm not sure why that is. This is the only device that I have that does that, so that's kind of unusual. Again, there are just some small things that probably software updates can improve. I think the battery life is the biggest thing that probably will take another version of the Steamdeck to fix. So another issue that I want to mention is the ergonomics. So they are fine. I think I have kind of average sized hands. I can reach all the buttons. Everything is mostly fine. Long gaming sessions are not uncomfortable, but I do think the ergonomics were slightly better on the Steam controller. I don't know if this is just a personal preference thing, but I liked having the face buttons below the trackpad, like this. Having them up here, I just kind of feel like, I don't know if they probably just didn't have room because the trackpad needs some size, but I don't know. I guess trying to space out where to put all these buttons is not an easy task, but my thumb wants these to be down here. So just a personal preference. Another personal preference thing, although these two back paddles, it's nice to have more stuff to map to. I'm not entirely used to having two of them yet. I'm more used to having one to press, so sometimes I accidentally press the wrong one when I have multiple binds, key binds. So that might just be something I get used to. So just to sum up, the good stuff, powerful, high quality hardware, the price is phenomenal, the controls are completely customizable, it makes all of my games playable pretty much portably. It's amazing. So one thing that I haven't explored much is it also doubles as a full Linux PC. Can switch to desktop mode and kind of use it more as a PC, file browsers and all that kind of fun stuff. And touching back on the bad stuff, the software is probably needs a little work, some more updates to fix the small stuff. One thing that could be in the bad column for some people, it does have some fan noise when you're playing some graphically intense games, but that hasn't really distracted me at all. But I could see how some people might take issue. It doesn't get unbearably hot, but the device does get a little warm sometimes, again, with graphically intense games. So that is my review for the Steamdeck from the perspective of a huge Steam controller fan. Great evolution, very excited to keep playing. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Otherwise, thanks for watching.